Hello, trading has closed on September 5th, 2024. As always, we'll start with our disclaimer, go over our calls, and make some predictions. My main computer is not working, so I'm hoping my backup is going to work. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, which is September 6th, 2024. Please remember, my calls can be wrong. All trades should be made at your own risk. Look for the pattern today with the early high, which is this. Tomorrow should also have the early high. We had a target 55.3126 that printed, and we said if you were going to play for it, you should be nimble, because I didn't think the decline was over. And that's all played out. It's just a reminder of what we said. This is a pattern which usually closes near the day's low. When it doesn't close near the day's low, tends to lead to higher prices. Now, time doesn't run out until early tomorrow. I mean, if we gap and undercut these lows tomorrow, that's the normal pattern. If not, that's normally a sign you're going to see higher prices, even if you don't close higher. We also have a higher target, 55.36.49. And if we don't gap down smartly, that'll be my call. In the afternoon, we got an ultimate buy signal. That's played out. We got a lower target. That's played out. All these moves were called false, and they've already retraced. The morning, we got an ultimate sell signal. That worked. This move is called false, but now this drop is called false. MEJT says we're retracing to this line, 55.36.49, and if we don't gap down smartly, that's my call. Well, this is the count we're using. We think we've completed blue A, and rather than call this blue B, which is still a valid count, we think we're making an ABC, and then C in magenta should have some kind of Fibonacci ratio to magenta A, and that's not where we are. So I don't think this drops over, but that doesn't mean we have to go down tomorrow. We could easily go up tomorrow, and the whole count could also be wrong. We'll start with magenta B. You can count this as an A and a B, and C right at the low is equal to twice A. So we have a higher target. We have an inability to take these lows out, and we have a count that works if this low holds, which we don't know yet. Let's take a look at this wave blue C on a smaller time frame. Well, if this is the top of blue B, you can count this as A, count that as B, and count that as C, and the fibs work. And the height of C is exactly half the height of A. So we do have a good fib ratio here. So even though we don't have to close higher tomorrow, there's a good chance we're going to see higher prices. Now, of course, the non-farm payroll comes out before the open. That could take us anywhere. We could open way down here. That I don't know. And it's all dependent on this holding. Now, I don't think this drops over. I've seen other people speculate on where it's going to end. I think it's a bit early, but there's one time frame, the middle of the month, I think is at least plausible. Doesn't mean I'm going to risk money on it now, but let's take a look at what we have. Well, here's the DeMark count, and earlier I said erroneously that this was the TDST line that would offer support. Actually, that's to this setup, and I should have used the TDST line for this setup, which is at 5300.84. So if we keep dropping, there's support at and 1 bar under 5300.84. Now, if there's no recovery at all, we can count 9 bars down. Doesn't mean you have to drop every day, it just means you don't recover enough. 1, 2, 3, 6 bars and down would be next Friday, which would be September 13th. So if we just keep on dropping and we hit this number on September 13th or a little bit under it and print 3 of our targets, we have support 52.92. I mean, that would all fit. It's one possibility. But I can't count a wave count ending in this level to show the whole decline's over. It just might be this leg. And what really complicates the picture about September 13th is September 14th is a spiral calendar date, F25, going back 22 years. Now, just because there's a date doesn't mean it has to be a bottom. But if there is a bottom, and there's a 3-day leeway with that date, if there is a bottom, and it's F25, it tends to be a crash bottom, which would mean we go much lower than 5,300. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we have support here, and we have the Bollinger Band moving up. But I don't know what's going to happen after non-farm payrolls. And if there is a big drop, which I am not predicting, September 14th, give or take 3 days by his criteria, is a time frame for a low. And if it is a low, it should be much lower than 5,300. Well, Friday's pattern has the early high regardless of where we open. The non-farm payroll report comes out before tomorrow's open. Tends to be a market mover. I just can't predict the response to major economic reports like that with any degree of accuracy. There's a higher MEJT target. Unless we gap down smartly, the rules say it prints. Today's normally bearish day didn't close near its low, and if that's maintained at the open tomorrow, that's an if, it should lead to higher prices regardless of where we close. There's a wave count compatible with this leg being over. The declines that continue unabated, bears should gap and promptly undercut today's low. That's what the bears need to do if they're going to keep us going down. If they don't, I think we'll see higher prices. Doesn't mean we close higher, but we have a good chance for a bounce tomorrow if today's low holds. It's the pattern with the early high. We have a higher target. It's not the only higher target, and that's today's call.